Humans cannot bear to reveal their true nature. Welcome back, everyone, to Mind Podcast. There are only two things in this world that we cannot look directly at. The first is the sun because it's too blinding. The second is human nature because it's too unpredictable. If I told you that society cannot handle a play and that people cannot bear a thorough exposure of their true nature, would you believe me? Look at the comments on the videos discussing human nature that I have shared, and you will understand. I know your life is busy. Even so, what I'm sharing isn't easy to grasp, especially if you only listen to it once. My advice is to watch until the end and listen to it repeatedly when you have time or while doing household chores. Share and save the playlist for your convenience. I am confident that within just a few short months, your mindset will develop exponentially, reaching new heights. Greetings from ancient wisdom. Today, we continue to delve into how complex human nature can be. These are the most honest conclusions, so the more experienced people will see value in them. If you don't fully understand it yet, that's okay. Just filter out and apply what is useful for yourself. People say that paradise is beautiful, but not everyone wants to go there right away. They say that money is sinful, but everyone is trying to earn it. They say that beautiful women are a source of trouble, but everyone wants to have them. They say it's lonely at the top, but everyone wants to climb up there. This is human nature. So, what is human nature? People hate when you have it, laugh when you don't, look down on you when you're poor, and fear you when you're rich. Lawyers hope you get sued. Doctors hope you get sick. Mechanics hope your car breaks down. Only thieves hope you prosper and become wealthy. When meeting someone for the first time, people begin to assess the status and value of the other person, then decide whether they should kneel before them or make the other person kneel before them. When you fail, a group of people will show up, seemingly concerned, asking what happened. Then, they'll leave with a sense of satisfaction. Most people want you to live well, but only if you're not doing better than them. As long as you don't interfere with their interests, you don't need to refute their words. Just don't let them attack you personally. Their opinions aren't worth your attention. The more fear you show, the more people will try to bully you. When you're not afraid of anything, no one will dare to bully you. If you're too kind, people will take advantage of you, but when you become a bit tougher, they might come to flatter you. Since ancient times, genuine emotions can't hold people together. Only cunning minds truly understand the nature of others. Gradually, you will realize that a good heart is never as powerful as a clever tongue. The bond between people is like knitting wool. Building it is a slow process, stitch by stitch, carefully and methodically. But when unraveling it, all it takes is a gentle pull. Don't easily share your pain because while some people will comfort you to your face, behind your back, they'll use your pain as a topic for gossip. Friends might want you to live well, but only if you don't live better than them. Your own failures are certainly scary, but the success of your friends can hurt people even more. A beggar won't be envious of a millionaire, but he will definitely envy another beggar who earns more than him. People are okay with strangers being wealthy, but they can't stand it when those close to them rise above. The greatest pain in life is to witness the people around you soar and prosper. We'd rather watch outsiders succeed than endure the success of those close to us. When people far away achieve greatness, we admire them. But when those nearby become successful, we resent them. We respect those who are a bit stronger than us, but we envy those who are just a little better. Humans praise the taste of meat while eating, but curse the dirty dishes while washing. When hungry, people will choose any food, even if they don't like it. When lonely, they will choose someone they don't love. This is called hunger doesn't choose food, cold doesn't choose clothes, panic doesn't choose paths, and poverty doesn't choose a wife. Why beautiful people often have short lives since ancient times. It's because no one cares how long unattractive people live. If you give someone $1 every day, and one day you don't, they'll resent you. But if you slap someone every day, and one day you don't, they'll thank you. Good-natured people often feel like they've done something wrong when they refuse others. There are people whom you help 7 parts, but they'll think you still owe them 3 parts. You won't truly understand your spouse's nature until you've been through a divorce. You won't see the true nature of siblings until money is involved. You won't see true filial piety until your parents are bedridden. You won't know a friend's true character until interests and benefits are at stake. Parents who appear strong often raise children who are weak and lack confidence. On the other hand, parents who are gentle and composed usually raise children with strong inner strength. Sensitive, introverted people are often very loyal. Once they trust, they persist unwaveringly. Extroverted, lively people may easily blend in, but they are often cold inside and are the first to withdraw in crucial moments. The more time people spend at home, the worse they treat their family, while they try to appear good-natured to outsiders. People like that are not only insecure, but also weak. If they weren't, they wouldn't come home only to get angry, argue, and bully their loved ones. A single mentally ill person is easy to identify, but a group of mentally ill people is difficult to detect. The first person to point out the abnormal will often be seen as the crazy one. Most people cannot see their own issues but love to judge others. People both look down on each other and flatter each other. Everyone wants to be above others, but is willing to kneel before others. Modern people live in an illusion. They think they know what they want, but in reality what they want is only what others want them to want. Most people don't truly desire freedom because freedom comes with responsibility. Most people fear responsibility. Humans can withstand attacks from others, but they cannot handle flattery. That's why you should learn to compliment others. It will help you avoid making enemies. A sign of high emotional intelligence is when you lie, and the other person knows but still accepts it cheerfully. On the other hand, low emotional intelligence is when you speak the truth and still have to apologize. The greatest flaw in human nature is having selfishness within oneself while expecting generosity from others. People always want others to act like saints while they secretly behave like scoundrels. You might think that the people you've helped in the past would at least show sympathy when you face difficulties. But in reality, those are often the ones who are quick to add fuel to the fire. Truth-tellers always have to tread carefully like petty villains, while liars can present themselves as virtuous gentlemen. When you don't have money, be a good person. When you have money, then do good deeds. Unfortunately, most people do the opposite. When they don't have money, they don't even see themselves as human. And when they do have money, they see nothing as worth doing. If one day you feel like everyone around you is being fake, don't worry or be afraid. It means you've matured. There's nothing surprising about it. Many weak people are also malicious, but because they're weak, their malice hasn't yet shown its true destructive power. However, when they turn the tables, they often become even more cruel. Many genuine and honest people might also be bad, but because they lack experience, they live timidly. Yet, when they find support, they immediately become shameless and excessively greedy. Many bosses tell their employees, "You all should work hard. We're doing something meaningful for society." When the company succeeds, we won't forget about you. But in reality, either the boss goes bankrupt halfway through, or when the company grows large, they kick out the people who shared the hard times to keep them out of the game. Many young men say to women, "I really like you." They promise, "Even though I don't have money right now, I will work hard to make money. When I become wealthy, I will repay you twice as much." But in reality, either these men are not capable of doing great things, or when they do become rich, they end up abandoning the wife who toiled by their side. Therefore, people who like to talk about morality and emotions often use these standards to bind others while quietly pursuing their own personal interests. Talking about money trains people to become wolves, but talking about emotions turns people into ingrates. Relationships that are sustained by money can eventually develop feelings, but relationships that start with emotions often fall apart due to interests, ultimately leading to resentment. Praising others is always right, especially when you don't know what to say or don't want to say anything. Just compliment them. It will prevent unnecessary trouble. Pretending to be foolish is always right, especially when you understand everything. The more you understand, the more you need to pretend to be foolish. When you don't understand, just wait in silence. Does money make people evil? In reality, money doesn't make people worse or better. It simply reveals their true nature. Money, like power, is a magnifying glass for human character. It will amplify your true self many times over, allowing you to live closer to your real essence. When people are poor, they don't have the opportunity to show arrogance or shamelessness, nor do they have the means to display generosity and kindness. When people have money, traits like vanity, greed, arrogance, selfishness, and desire will be magnified, while generosity, kindness, bravery, filial piety, and dedication will also be amplified accordingly. Money makes the noble even nobler, and the vile even viler. Money makes the deep even deeper, and the shallow even shallower. The best way to comfort someone is to say, "I'm actually in a worse situation than you." Never use theoretical platitudes, as they will only make the other person feel even more miserable. That's human nature. I can fail, but I can't admit that I've failed. I need to see that everyone else is also failing. That's the only way I'll feel at ease. If I see that there are others in the world who are worse off than I am, then what is there for me to be sad about? Instead, I should feel lucky. In short, not everyone who fails deserves sympathy or pity. Not everyone who fails is willing to face reality. They'd rather deceive themselves, living in a state of self-consolation. Most people's happiness doesn't come from self-awareness, but from living better than those around them. Their sense of superiority fuels their happiness. And most people's suffering doesn't stem from being mediocre or poor, but from seeing those around them succeed more than they do, which causes them endless pain. No matter how rich and comfortable a person's life may be, if everyone around them is doing better, their sense of happiness will not be high. Conversely, no matter how mundane and simple a person's life may be, if everyone around them is doing worse, their happiness will not be low. In human nature, there is a self-protection mechanism for self-esteem. When we encounter the outside world, especially when faced with situations beyond our expectations, we feel panicked and confused. At that moment, our brain collects every clue it can to prove that others' success is merely luck. We convince ourselves that if we had the same objective conditions, we would surely do better than they have. For instance, back in school, we often dismissed those who excelled academically by saying they were just bookworms. Beautiful girls are often labeled as not smart when they grow up. This eventually translates into thinking that a colleague's promotion is due to flattery, or that a classmate's success in business is thanks to family financial backing. To avoid facing the success of those around us, we prefer to drag them down, trample on their achievements, and undermine their glory to satisfy our own mindset. This feeling often brings even more pleasure than achieving success ourselves. We always like to think of exceptional and successful people in the most negative ways possible, just to feel reassured, as if only then we can prove that our own mediocrity is not isolated. We find reasons to justify our own failures and ordinary lives. People would rather prove the mediocrity of others than face their own. This is the limitation of most people, and it's also how they implicitly admit their own helplessness. As someone once said, all of human suffering fundamentally stems from anger at our own helplessness. Those who understand the most are often the ones who receive the least attention. Kind-hearted people are usually the ones who get bullied the most. Those who are empathetic often end up being wronged the most. On the other hand, people who cry, refuse, and turn hostile are often the ones no one dares to mess with. The tougher and more unreasonable you are, the more people will try to appease you. Men who exhibit the traits of a bad boy often appear charming and flirtatious on the surface, but in reality, they lack love. Meanwhile, women who are easily attracted to such bad boys have often suffered emotional wounds from their families and lack affection to the point that even a slight hint of attention from a bad boy can lure them in. The eyes of humans, though parallel, do not see people equally or fairly. Humans have ears on both sides, yet they only like to listen to one side. Every individual, when standing alone, is rational and intelligent. But when they gather together, they become blind and irrational, turning into an unorganized crowd easily swayed by the herd mentality. In a society where everyone watches each other, what is considered right is simply conformity with others. All behaviors that appear arrogant conceal a deep insecurity that needs to be hidden. Concessions often lead to people taking advantage of you. Don't expect it to bring you respect or compassion from others. Humans have 1,000 faces, and their minds change 1,000 times more. What you know doesn't need to be fully revealed, and what you hear shouldn't be entirely trusted. In this cold society, you never truly know who is playing what game with whom. What's so scary about demons? Just look at the people around you. Everyone is an excellent actor. Each person wears a mask that changes unpredictably. Today you're sincere with someone, and tomorrow you might be in pain from regret. Most people cannot see their own flaws, yet they love to teach others. They keep their selfishness, but always demand generosity from others. Life is like playing Super Mario. When you haven't eaten a mushroom to grow, even a small turtle can kill you instantly. Pleasing others too much is like committing slow suicide. Kindness can be free, but it shouldn't be too cheap. Giving without expecting anything in return will only lead to disappointment. Don't be unconditionally kind to anyone, no matter how much you care for them, because over time, they will get used to it and see it as something they're entitled to. Enthusiasm that's not reciprocated needs to be stopped at the right moment, because such dedication will only end up moving yourself. People who love to show off are usually insecure. Those who are promiscuous often lack love. Those who appear the most glamorous on the outside are often the weakest on the inside. In this society, never reveal all your cards. True pride isn't about how many people know you when you're shining. It's about how many people still remember you when you're down. Sharing joy with the wrong person becomes bragging. Sharing sadness with the wrong person becomes complaining. Sometimes, reality needs to give you a hard slap for you to realize how fake society can be. The friends you thought were real can hurt you to the point where nothing remains. Only then will you understand how terrifying people can be. Never blame others for not helping you, and don't blame them for not caring. In this world, we are all independent beings. Suffering and hardship must be endured by yourself. No one can truly understand you. If a stone doesn't fall on someone else's foot, they will never know what pain feels like. Everything needs to have limits. Excessive kindness is a lack of wisdom. Too much concession is a sign of weakness. If you are overly generous and tolerant in everything, others will not appreciate you, but will only take advantage. Being too kind is also a form of foolishness. Most people's happiness comes from feeling that they are living better than those around them. Most people's suffering comes from seeing those around them succeed more than they do. People tend to criticize those who excel, thinking their success is just luck or the result of corruption, as if only by doing so can they prove that their own mediocrity is not unique. This allows them to justify their own lack of success. No matter how you live, there will always be people talking behind your back. There's no need to justify, no need to argue. Just smile and let it go. That's the best form of contempt. Many initial encounters feel like meeting a soulmate, but upon reuniting, it's as if you've become strangers. You can treat someone well, but they may not remember it. However, if you hurt them, they might remember it for a lifetime. There's no need to expect kindness from others, but also don't cause trouble for them either. Those who hold on to hope will find light everywhere. Those with a dark soul will always see darkness around them. Most of the time, the way people see the world depends on themselves. Anger is punishing yourself for someone else's mistakes. Sadness is torturing yourself with the past. Worry is scaring yourself with unknown risks in the future. When you're in difficulty, you'll realize who your true friends are. When you succeed, you'll see who recognizes you as a friend. In moments of happiness or sorrow, you'll understand yourself more clearly. When you go through life's ups and downs, you'll see who your real friends are. This is the nature of people. Society cannot tolerate a play, and humans cannot bear a thorough exposure of their true nature. I suddenly understand the quote from Lucian's Diary of a Madman. I flipped through history and found no chronicle of dates. Each page was inscribed crookedly with the 4 words: humanity, righteousness, morality, and virtue. Now I finally understand. Reading Lucian's words as a child, I didn't grasp their meaning. Now as an adult, rereading them brings tears to my eyes.